What is up, guys? Welcome. Crypto FUD. And let's jump right into this. Whew. Let's do this, guys. Bill, what's going on, buddy? Oh, nice. Bro, the whole time I did not know that was you, bro. What's going on, buddy? What is going on? Old's in the house. There we go. Want to start seeing some green in the chat. What's going on, buddy? Doing good, bro. Psycho. Cheers, bro. I switched over to rum. And Coke. Yeah, it's one of those days. We're not drinking beer right now. Not right now in this environment. Not in this environment. Let's go, guys. I don't jump on rum and Coke, or I've been drinking. We've had multiple bottles of Crown, the big handles from the wedding, but yeah, definitely been killing them. Well, let's just jump right into this, guys. So welcome. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. It has been one of those days. It's been one of those weeks. It's been one of those months. Has it been? It's been one of those years, right? So far, 2025 has been really a roller coaster ride. It really has. But let's just do this. Hopefully, I can give you guys a little bit of hopium right now. I know it is just a train wreck out there, but we've been having a lot of members only stream, and the main thing that we've been talking about on our members only stream is the opportunity that I think a lot of people do not see here. Most people, or some people, do see it, but I think a lot of people, they just run with the narrative, and it's easy, right? It's easy to be a little scared in this environment as far as buying and really dollar cost averaging in. And by no means am I giving out any kind of financial advice, but it's what I've been doing, right? It's what I've been doing. It's what I've always done in the last 5 years, and it's always paid out as long as you have patience, right? As long as you're using dry powder that you don't need anytime soon, you have time on your side. I think it's going to play out well. Right now, Bitcoin sitting at around $76,961.87 to be exact. We've been kind of teetering around that 77,000 mark. Earlier today, we did see a nice little move towards the 81,000 mark. I'll zoom in a little bit on this, but earlier today, we did see a nice little move towards the upside. What's going on? Well, earlier today, let's rewind. As of, this was yesterday, we did bottom out so far, right? Making a new bottom at around 74,467. And since then, we did run up, or if you want to call that a run up, a nice little fake out where the market ran up to about 80,800, only to come right back down. What is going on? Well, as of earlier, we as of yesterday, technically, if you guys remember, we saw this big spurt in the market. We went down to 74, like I said, and we actually ran up to about 81.1, but it was quickly reversed. And it was because as of yesterday morning, the markets were trying to rally off of a rumor that supposedly there was going to be a pause in the tariffs. Great thing, right? Well, I guess the Trump administration comes out immediately and was like, nope, that is a complete lie. The markets came right back down. As of this morning, we did see a nice little move towards the upside, but right when the markets opened up, that's when we pretty much saw the downward movement. The S&P closed again down about 1.5%. It was technically up about 3.5% earlier as the markets opened up. We're getting a lot of news that some of the countries are coming to the negotiating table in regards to wanting to resolve the tariffs, but we're also getting a lot of, on the other end, tit for tat, particularly with China, where, Trump's doubling down, China's doubling down, and it's looking like it's going to be some kind of a longevity trade war for at least the two big superpowers. And I called this a while back. I said, I guarantee there's going to be a resolve. Some countries might take longer than the others, but for the most part, we will resolve this with a lot of these countries probably in the next coming weeks. The big dog in the house is going to be China because they feel like they have more leverage to stand on, right? I understand it. So that's what's going on right now. So you saw that Trump, or as of today at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, That's the deadline that Trump gave for China to kind of back off and come to some kind of a negotiation. Well, China basically doubled down, right, and added more tariffs on top of the goods that they're going to be importing or exporting, whatever the hell the case is. Markets didn't like it. We saw the sell-off. As we are speaking right now, still just not really recovering because the markets are just spooked as of right now. So what to expect? What do we have in front of us? Well, to be honest, guys, we really don't have much. We have the FOMC minutes dropping tomorrow, which I think is going to be a big nothing burger. We do have inflation numbers, core inflation coming out this past in this next few days on the 10th, which is going to be on Thursday. It actually doesn't look bad. Core inflation year over year looks like it's going to be coming in 0.2. This is year over year, coming in 0.2 higher than previous. It looks like core inflation month over month is going to come up a tick up at 0.1 higher, at 0.3 from 0.2. And it looks like core inflation year over year is going to come actually down at around 3% from 3.1. And then inflation month over month is actually going to come down. Why is inflation potentially, why are they forecasting that to come down? Well, the big factor is that oil, gas has been down like crazy, right? We haven't really seen it necessarily in the pumps, but it will eventually come to the pumps where you're going to notice that gas is getting really cheaper. That's going to be a big metric on, sorry, I have something in my eye. That's going to be a big metric on the inflation that they're basically going to, that's going to help inflation come down. So definitely a good thing for inflation for this week. Hopefully we see that come down. I think it's going to be nothing but a positive move, but I don't think it's going to be any kind of a game changer in regards to what's going to happen in the markets for right now until these tariffs are resolved. So that's going to be on Thursday. So we will be waiting for that. Right now, you can see the fear and greed index right now is basically, it's at extreme fear, right? Extreme fear meaning that the markets are just basically, I mean, the markets are completely spooked right now. Completely spooked where, you know, there's not a lot of confidence in the market right now. Not a lot of confidence. People aren't really wanting to buy. A lot of people are sitting on the sidelines. The crazy degens are the ones that are purchasing, like you and I, dollar cost averaging in, buying in. My members know I've been calling out a lot of plays. Yesterday, a play that I called out, even if it was for day trading, was Jasmy. I called Jasmy earlier yesterday. It was down to 0.8, and earlier as of today, it was actually up about 20%. It has retraced a lot back below that 1 cent mark. Obviously cannot sustain those gains given that the whole market is down such a considerable amount for today. So Bill was asking, does lower gas prices mean fart coin discounts? You saw the opportunity and you took it. I like it. I like it, bro. I like that one. So yeah, extreme greed right now. Obviously, bubbles, absolutely. I mean, just red across the board. We have a little bit, like I said, Jasmy's up 3%. We have KuCoin up 4%. Maker's up 1%. Core is up 13% for whatever reason. I'm sure there's probably something behind that. But if you really want to get a gist on what we're dealing with right now, look at the weekly, look at the monthly, right? Monthly is crazy because you have, like, you know, what Bill was just talking about, Fartcoin absolutely ripping. You get that one? Absolutely ripping. But you have EOS, OKB, Core, Zik, that's Zcash, doing pretty well. And then CRV, Curve, not doing too bad. And TON actually is up 12%. I didn't even realize TON was is back up and running right now. $4. But for the most part, the rest of the market is just, it's a bloodbath right now. It really is a freaking bloodbath right now. But is this a beautiful buying opportunity? Well, we've been talking about this on the members only streams. I think that it is a beautiful buying opportunity on a lot of these projects. A lot of these projects, I'm telling you, when we start running, whether it's, you know, in a week from now, tomorrow, a month, 2 months, whatever the case is, and this bull runs back up and running, and we have that last big run, that last big exit liquidity comes flying in, these projects are going to absolutely go crazy because they are down so much. Meme coins, you're going to see new millionaires being formed with meme coins. Mark my words. So whoever bought the dip on Fartcoin that's been accumulating, they're going to be blasting off whenever this market takes off. Absolutely crazy. No pun intended on that one. One thing I wanted to point out, something real big here, been calling this for the last, 3, 4, 5 weeks, that this next FOMC meeting in May, they're going to reduce interest rates. They're going to reduce interest rates, and you can see, I called for this. I said it's going to be a 50-50 for the markets. You're going to have 50% of the people that are unsure, and you're going to have 50% of the people that understand what's going on economically in the markets and why Jerome Powell is 100% going to be forced to start reducing rates a lot faster than he even wants to or has anticipated. And you're seeing it now. When I called this, we had 90% of the market saying that there was going to be a pause, and maybe 5 to 10% potentially saying that there was going to be some kind of a reduction in interest rates. And now look, in the last 3 to 4 weeks, it has shifted, not necessarily towards the completely that the market's pricing in some kind of a reduction in interest rates, but you can see 55% are still calling for a pause, and now we are at a 44.5%, 44.5%. Basically, that almost half the market is starting to understand that Jerome Powell has no choice. He is going to reduce interest rates. He's going to reduce interest rates this month, and most likely the following month, and they're probably going to be small increments starting off this next meeting, 100% a 0.25, 0.25% basis point reduction. And then when we start getting into June and July, I think that's where, depending on where we're at with these tariffs, with the economy, if inflation continues to come down, he might have a little bit of some push to reduce interest rates, potentially at bigger increments, potentially at 0.5% or maybe even more, right? But I'm guaranteeing right now, interest rates are sitting at around 4.25%, 4.5% right now. They're probably going to be down to around 3% towards the later end of this year, around 3%. I'm almost guaranteeing it, and that's a big move for the Feds as far as them reducing interest rates. That would be only nothing but a plus for the markets. But obviously, I still do believe that the tariffs are going to be the main objective in regards to the market really moving. So we could see something like this, and this might move the market temporarily. Maybe the day that we get an announcement that the interest rates are getting reduced, whatever the case may be. But I still do think that we're going to have that looming tariffs. If they don't get resolved, it's going to basically just take away those gains, anything that we see right now. So if we see any kind of a bump up towards the up, it's going to be basically short-lived, and we're most likely going to be coming back down just because that's where we're at right now, folks. So Khalil said that we got to lock it in. This is a buying opportunity, and I completely agree, bro. That's exactly what we've been talking about in the member stream, is basically that's why I haven't been streaming a lot. We've been streaming almost daily now, or not daily, but every other day on our member stream, because we're just basically covering plays, right? We're covering plays because right now it's like I'm like, bro, I don't even want to go stream out in the normal public because it's just a shit show right now. What am I going to keep telling you guys? Oh, the tariffs. I don't even want to say the word tariff anymore. Whenever these shits get resolved, I don't ever want to hear that word for like the next 20 years, right? But it's just like it's the environment that we're in right now. It's just the environment that we're in right now. So in the member streams, we've been basically just pointing out plays, right? Like I said yesterday, we talked about Jasmine. Jasmine was down so much yesterday, or I'm sorry, Jasmine was down a few days ago so much that it bounced. Look at this freaking massive bounce that we saw. And whether you're day trading or maybe you're just taking advantage of these dips, but look at that 40% move that I called out on Jasmine in our members only stream right there. Beautiful, beautiful move. Did I take advantage of that? I did not. And I was saying, damn, I wish, because when we called it out, it already had started to bounce at around the 009 mark. But I said, this is probably going to be a beautiful move, whether it's long-term or short-term. And it literally played out 12 hours later, jumping up another 30, 40% on that move. So Old said, throw in another 5 large at Cas in a couple days. Where is Caspa at right now? Let's pull it up. And if you guys have any projects you want to pull up, we're not going to be here for long, right? We're not going to be here for long because, like I said, It's like beating a dead horse right now. It's like beating a dead horse. Sorry, I was reading something on my phone in regards to this market and this shit show that we're in. Yeah, bro. So, I got you, man. So for CAS, you already know. We've been calling this really since it broke below the 618. And you can see a couple things on CASPA, right? We've seen the drop down with the market, but you can see since as of late, right? This thing is, if it does bounce, look where it pretty much has been hitting its head at the 618. 618 was some support, broke below. Now the 618 obviously is going to be some resistance for right now. And it looks like as of late, the last day or two, it hasn't even come near to come retest the 618. So beautiful spot in my opinion as far as buy zone. I will say, if you have the opportunity, anything below the 786, dude, anything below the 786, look at this. This is pretty much the last time, and this is the only time that you've had an opportunity, right? When it first pretty much launched to be buying at these prices. It's not there yet, but if you do have the opportunity for this to get below the 786, you can see obviously the beautiful potential that you would have as far as buying in these zones whenever the market starts running back up. And obviously very bullish on CASPA. So I do think that if you do get the opportunity, that's a blessing in my opinion in regards to just stacking up on the bag and waiting for this thing to just take off. So, and the 786, just to give you some price ranges, that's going to be at the 45 level, somewhere around that 4.5 cent. Bill said he just got off the treadmill. Now it's time to start chugging beers. That's absolutely hilarious, bro. That's hilarious. But you know what? I'm right there with you. If you guys are wondering, I have this like solo cup, right? It's rum and coke in here, guys. It's rum and coke. I'm not even drinking beer right now. I'm drinking rum and coke. For one, I had all that beer from the wedding from like 3 months ago that I finally killed all those seltzers. I'm like, dude, I gotta like go a few weeks without drinking beer or seltzers. I haven't touched a seltzer since I think that one member stream that everybody was laughing at me because I was drinking. I was like, oof. Pull up some Pepe, bro. Yeah, I got you, bro. Whew. I will say this chart looks hideous, but compared to some of the other meme coins, dude, Pepe is holding not too bad. Let's pull up. I want to look up the market cap on Pepe. Because this thing at its prime was at what, $7-8 billion? It's still at $2.5 billion. That's insane. It's still holding well above the $1 billion mark. At the top of the market, at the top of the market, Pepe got up to $11.1 billion. That's insane right there, bro. Shows you how much money actually flowed into Pepe and how much money has flown out. But like I said, compared to a lot of these other meme coins, Pepe's doing better only because it has so much liquidity and a market cap, right? A lot of these meme coins that maybe even got up to $1 billion are now under 100 million, because $1 billion is, it's a lot, but for a project it's really not that much. And when the shit starts hitting the fan, it's easily, it easily starts dropping pretty fast. When you're talking about $11 billion, it's going to take a lot of money for this thing to really drop down, to the abyss, which it is down like crazy, but it's holding a lot better, like I said, because of the the large market cap that it originally had. So we've already done these tests before and measured a lot of these meme coins. Pepe still holding very well right now, even through the thick of it, down 78.89% from its top. So I mean, definitely holding really well. You can see the Pepe has dropped below the 786 on its chart, and you can see when we had a nice little fake out, it pretty much hit its head at the 786 and got rejected right there. So definitely not a bad spot for memes, like I said, as far as any meme across the board. And I mentioned this during our member stream. I said, listen, TA right now, it doesn't really matter right now. Until we can get these damn tariffs taken care of, it really doesn't matter. You're in a buy zone for pretty much 99.9% of projects right now. You're in a buy zone, right? Some of them are a little better than others, but you're pretty much in a buy zone right now. For me personally, red days, DCAing, just buying, adding to the bag. So what I will say is so far the bottom for Pepe has been around that 52 mark. A big spot, I think, for some massive resistance, if it even is able to come down, is going to be that 44 mark. You can see 44. That's a big spot. That's going to most likely be. That's where it pretty much bounced before it started to take off for Pepe. So keep an eye on that. But right now, you're below the 786. Beautiful buy zone, in my opinion. Top meme coins right now, you have Pepe and Turbo. Nice. Turbo, I mean, we already know Turbo's down and out, same thing. Like I said before, all of it right now, meme coins are on the back burner, right, for pretty much a lot of investors. But this is, in my opinion, and this is what we talk about on the members stream, right? This is the time when I like to just be, getting these big bags in, right? Because when everybody's just like, oh my God, everybody's terrified, or I don't even want to buy right now, and meme coins are down 90+%, they're solid meme coins, that's what I'm buying. Because I don't buy when everybody's screaming Pepe to the moon. That's when all the exit liquidity is coming in, right? You're supposed to be buying in, and I'm not giving out financial advice, but this is what we talk about on the member stream. You're supposed to be buying in when everybody's not talking about it, when everybody's scared shitless to buy, like times like right now, right? Where everybody's terrified and you're, oh my God, crypto's done. The markets are done. We're in a bear market, right? Bro, we're not in a bear market. We're in a bear zone in a bull market, right? And I know it sounds crazy to say, right? It sounds crazy to say, but it's happened plenty of times. How many times have I brought this up? And I'm going to bring it up again, right? And now I'm starting to get a little loud because the rum's kicking in, right? And I'm getting a little hype. But I'm being serious, guys, right? I want to make sure you guys don't get faked out on all this. Yes, it sucks, and we don't know exactly where we're headed, right? We don't know for 100%, everything's going to be all right. But if you look back, we've been through this all before. We've been through all this before. It is not a bear market yet. Not yet. I think bear market will be coming on this last run after the fact. But you can see when we were 2020, 2021 was our last 4-year cycle, and that was our last big bull run. What the hell happened during this run? Well, you can see there was a 50% drop during the bear. I'm sorry, I keep wanting to say bear. Now I'm starting to turn bearish, right? No. But during the bull market, there was a 50% drop. And you want to talk about scared shitless? This was for 3 months, guys. I said this how long? I've been talking about this drop since January. I've been bringing this up since January because I want you guys to understand that what we're seeing right now is nothing different than what we've seen on the last bull run. It's just different. It's got a new face on it, right? Today, it's tariffs. Before, it was freaking China banning crypto and whatever the hell was going on, during that time. I don't even freaking remember at the time, and that's probably what's going to happen 4 years from now. We're not even going to remember all this shit, but it's happened over and over and over. But you know what smart money did? Well, smart money sold at the top, and I called the freaking top when we were up there. I called at 105. I said we're getting a lot of signs of a local top, right? We're not going to get into that though, right? But what did smart money do? They if they were smart enough, they sold off at this top, and they were able to accumulate when we saw this 50% drop. And this isn't just for Bitcoin. Bitcoin dropped 50%. What do you think altcoins did? If Bitcoin dropped 50%, altcoins were down 80, 90%. Absolutely insane prices. Everybody on YouTube at the time was screaming $3,000 Bitcoin, zero, we're going to zero. Everything's over with. It's done. It was a fake out. 4-year cycle was a scam. Blah, 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 blah. And the very few smart YouTubers, right, were like, that were seasoned. They're like, we've been through this, right? I Am George. Gotta always call him out because I feel like I Am George is like a therapist nowadays. When we go through this bullshit, I peep in his stream. I don't laugh at people, but I crack up because you can point out all the new investors, right? They all flock to the bigger channels, obviously, for like I Am George, and they're just in there like, this is it, it's over with, and you can tell that they haven't been around for long, right? They haven't been around for long. They're terrified. They're selling at losses, and now everything's a scam. But during this period, alts got absolutely wrecked. 90%. I mean, it was insane. Ethereum dropped down to like $900. It was absolutely insane, right? 3 months, 12 weeks of this. 12 weeks. We technically have been going through this for probably about 2 months. So it's equivalent. It's equivalent. But we haven't, the duration hasn't been as far as what this one was. But the point of what I'm bringing this up for the 100th time is look what followed. We had one more massive run for that year, for this bull run, until we officially got into a bear market. And I do think, and I've been saying this for I feel like the last 3 or 4 months, that's exactly what we're dealing with right now. Only time will tell as far as that. But if you really measure from our top, from where we're at, or where we were at to where we're at right now, we technically have gone down right now 30%. If we actually measure from the top to the official bottom that we just saw recently, we'll just go down to this line. It was about 32.5%. So, I mean, if that was the bottom, we don't know yet, but if that was the bottom, it didn't even match this 52+% drop that we saw in the market in 2021, only for us to run up and make new highs. And guess what happened when we made new highs back towards November of 2021? Altcoin season happened, right? Altcoin season happened. So, I'm not going to be here to tell you that that's exactly how it's going to play out. But 4-year cycles used to tend to look familiar. And I wouldn't be surprised if something similar like that happens, right? So that's what I'm pretty much running on for right now. If anything, I've already called out certain areas that we have to hold, right, for us to really keep this, even the seasoned investors staying bullish, right? And the biggest one is really that 74,000, but the biggest one is going to be the previous all-time high of 69K. I've been saying this for a while. This is our previous high from 2021. If we do need to come back down to retest that level, yes, it's going to freaking suck. If you're, not buying in, if you're buying in, alts are even going to go down another 15-20% most likely. But regardless, this could be the spot where we potentially bounce, coming back to retest these the previous all-time high back in 2021. So those are going to be the two areas. So far, like I said, we haven't come down to actually kiss this area necessarily yet, the 74,055. We came down to about 74.4. We could potentially do that. We could potentially come back or come down to test that area. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. For right now, nothing is resolved, right? Nothing is resolved. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys, oh, everything looks great and we're about to bounce. No, I'm not going to give you any TA, right? Kind of gave you some TA just now. But regardless, until these freaking tariffs are resolved or there's enough time to where the investors in Wall Street kind of forget about it all, and the majority of the tariffs are resolved, we're not going to see really a big rebound in the market for right now. So it is what it is. But I wanted to keep, and if I have to keep bringing this up every stream, back in what we dealt with back in 2021, something so similar, right? I will, just to give you guys hopium, because it's going to suck if that plays out, and you're selling off at losses right now, only to see in a week, a month, 2 months, 3 months, however long it is, and we see a massive bounce and Bitcoin finally does run up to its all-time high for this season, right? So that's pretty much what it is with that. Going to dominance, you guys can see a couple things with dominance. We are at some high levels. We've been steadily at high levels. We're at 63.46, almost 63.5% on Bitcoin dominance right now, meaning 63.5% of all market cap liquidity or market cap money that's in the crypto space is literally in Bitcoin right now, right? That shows you how much money has exited right now that's sitting on the sidelines. It shows you where the markets are as far as confidence, right? Most of the market's scared. A lot of retail sold off for losses. The rest of the markets basically moved their money over into Bitcoin and jumped out of all altcoins for right now. That's why I keep screaming, could this be the beautiful buy zone that we need, right? I know it's been a longevity of a buy zone that we've been in for the last month, and it might get worse. But at the end of the day, when you're looking back, I don't think you're really going to be like, oh my God, like timing the bottom and you didn't get the bottom exact, right? You make a 10x on your portfolio, I don't think you're really going to give a shit. So another thing that I'm looking at is a potential double top, right? We could be seeing somewhat of a double top on the dominance, and that could be a bullish sign for alts, particularly because though we do want to see Bitcoin do really well. At the same time, if we do see some kind of a reduction in dominance, that'd be awesome too, because obviously that would be meaning that the market's confidence is shifting over to riskier assets, aka altcoins, and the smaller cap projects. So we'll see how this plays out. This isn't an overnight thing, but if we do see some kind of a retest at the 64.3 and then we see, reduction, could play out in the next few weeks. So we'll keep an eye on that. Amor, what's going on, brother? Amor said all the peeps in the Discord have been keeping my spirits up and making sure I don't premature sell like an idiot. I know, I've been watching, bro. Amor said at this point I'm logging into my account just to make sure my passcode still works. I hear you. I hear you, bro. Looking at the DeFi watch list for right now, on my watch list, everything is just, obviously DeFi is going to be down like crazy, right? The traditional market's down. DeFi is going to be pretty much second to that. It's going to be farther down just with smaller market caps and stuff like that. I did make a move the other day. I mentioned this on the members only stream. I don't mean to always keep bringing that up. Oh man, I just moved my favorite tracement. Oh well, I'll bring it back up over in a minute. But I did make a move the other day. I've been not day trading call, but I've been, when we do drop down to these lower levels, I've been accumulating, right? So like when we drop down, I didn't catch the 16, but I did jump in at around 17. And when we ran up above the 20, because remember, previously, when we were back here, I said below the 20 is a good buy zone. Well, since we broke below the 20, you guys can see it's been kind of a resistance zone. That's been now technically a sell zone, not a buy zone, right? So with call, we drop down. If you're awake or whenever if you can catch that bottom, right? Good spot for me personally that I'm looking for is anything under this 1810 is a good buy zone for right now. And this will shift if the markets continue to stay kind of where they're at. But for right now, anything below that 1810 even where it's at right now, probably not a bad little spot, not financial advice. $14 million market cap. This potentially could easily roll back over, but it's kind of running with the market. So, you're down, it's down, it's down. The market has a good day. Maybe tomorrow this thing could easily bounce back up and at least run up to around that 20 mark right there, which I know it doesn't look like much, but like I've been saying, I've been kind of not day trading, but buying in and letting it sit for a few days and it will do a bounce. That's a 13% gain. So, little gains like that, this is what I point out as far as right now for our members. And obviously with leverage trading, that's been the biggest thing with shorting and long in the market for right now and just accumulating, right? That's pretty much all you can do right now is accumulating DCA. And if you're long or short in the market, kind of playing the daily moves for right now. So, Art, what's going on, brother? Flips in the house. What's going on, guys? So, a quick article that I wanted to point out here. So, crypto analyst hints at a most legendary bottom for Bitcoin. Updates outlook on Ethereum and XRP. So, just going to fly through this one. A widely followed crypto analyst says Bitcoin may be on the verge of a massive bullish reversal after correcting into the 70s range. Closely followed strategist Credible Crypto tells his 466,700 followers on social media platform X that Bitcoin may be printing a bullish triple bottom reversal pattern on the 4-hour chart. So let's pull that up. So he's looking at the 4-hour chart and he's pointing out a triple bottom. and I'm going to point it out real quick even before we pull up that article. What he's calling out in this, it doesn't necessarily always play out, but it is a bullish sign, is you have 1, 2, 3, right? You have 3, what they call a triple bottom, right? You see these triple bottoms a lot of times. That is a sign of some kind of a bottom. Doesn't 100% mean that, but it could be, right? So a triple bottom pattern indicates that an asset has found a strong price floor that refuses to crack even after being tested 3 times. If this triple tap actually holds, it will be the most epic, legendary bottom ever. And what even though if you look at the charts, we've made lower lows, what he's pointing out is basically, I don't know if I necessarily agree, because you can see he basically is rounding at this area where it's basically bounced or hit, right, as is the 78.2 level, right? So far we broke below on this last bounce, or this last drop so far, but he's still considering it as some kind of a triple bottom, right? Even though we haven't really reversed as of now. So however, the analyst warns that Bitcoin fails to hold the 78.2 as support. Isn't that crazy? That's literally what I just pointed out, right? This area, 78.2 right there. Let's see here. So if we don't hold the 78.2 as support, the flagship crypto asset may drop as much as 13% from its current value. Let's see here. There's our retests of range lows. We need to hold here, or else 69,000 to 74K officially comes into play. And what's crazy is that's exactly what we have on our chart, right? I'm going to move this line so we don't get confused on there. That's literally what we have on our chart. Look, and remember, we were talking about this. 74K has to hold, or 69,000 probably going to come into play, right? And that's exactly what I think a lot of people are looking at as of now. So Bitcoin is trading at 80,600 at the time of the writing, which is, when did this come out? They don't give a date on here. I believe this is new, so it came out this morning. Obviously, they dropped the this article right when Bitcoin kind of had a little bit of a bounce. So next up, the analysts say that Ethereum may revisit the $1,100 level if Bitcoin starts correcting further. Unfortunately, most alts, including Ethereum, haven't held up very well on this drop, and so a further push down to Bitcoin to our second zone, 69,000 to 74K, likely means that Ethereum will break below region. Excuse me. I expect to mark our bottom green. If that happens, the only other area of interest I can see on the downside is the orange zone below. He's given this on Ethereum, which is basically going to be around that 1100 mark. Keep in mind our HTF our high time frame horizontal support at 1800-ish remains valid until the close, which is at the end of this month. So if we do get back to the break on Bitcoin, if we do get a break on Bitcoin to 69 to 74K, and on Ethereum on the orange zone, I would want to see a strong buyback and push back above the $1,800 to $1,900 by the monthly close. I don't think you can go wrong with buying spot into the orange zone for a mid-long term hold. I agree with that. That's pretty much, it's almost getting back to where I was buying Ethereum back in like 2020. I was buying Ethereum at at 900 was my lowest. So $1,100 Ethereum is insane. It really is insane. Some of these prices, I think some people don't realize, and not necessarily you guys, but just people that are coming to the space in the last 2 years, they don't realize that the price for some of these altcoins particularly are like numbers that we have not seen in a few years, right? In a few years. And if there is an epic breakout that eventually comes, it's going to be crazy to be buying Ethereum at $1,100. It's going to be crazy to buy Solana at, wherever Solana's potential, if it breaks, it already has broke below 100. But, I'm saying if it breaks below that 100, $78 is the next real big spot, because you can see we came up and we pretty much retested this 94,000 mark. So the next big spot, if we do drop for Solana, would be $78. That is in my opinion, that's a massive steal on Solana, right? And we could go down the list for alts like crazy. Jasmine, under a penny right now, right? I mean, ICP, another project that I've been calling out, $4.50 right now, right? Fetch AI, another project I've been calling out, 38 cents right now, right? I mean, like I said, we can go down the list of a lot of these projects that are just like, it's insane to even see these prices again. And the last time we saw this on some of them, I didn't buy them all, but some of them I accumulated massive amounts and just held and did so well on them when we finally rebound. So Flip said Bitcoin needs a BBL. Unless Ethereum's going to move first, you're better of gains wise to buy something on Ethereum. You mean like a DeFi project on Ethereum? I mean, I guess, yeah, if you truly believe, and that's the same thing with Solana, right? If you do believe in Solana, or if you believe in like Ethereum, buying a strong project that's on that ecosystem, you'll probably see more gains whenever it does bounce, because obviously the market cap's going to be a fraction of what actual Ethereum is or Solana. So with that analogy, I 100% agree with you. And then he kind of gives a XRP. Let's see here. So lastly, the analyst says that the payment token XRP may temporarily dip below 180. Where is XRP at right now? XRP is literally on 180 right now. Literally on 180 right now. Remember, this article came out this morning. So the charts were looking a lot better this morning. So XRP is at 180 right now, which is at its 0.5. It's literally trying to hold its 0.5. And we're on the daily, this thing dropped down to 162 earlier. Holy shit. Oh, this was yesterday. Yesterday it dropped down to 162. But you can see on the daily, even XRP broke below its 200-day moving average. This red line is its 200-day moving average. Broke below it, and you can see it's trying to hold that 0.5. But I'm going to tell you guys, folks, right now, most likely tonight, this thing is probably going to be coming below the 180 mark if the markets don't reverse as of now. So let's see here. It may temporarily dip below the 180 before rallying to a new all-time high at around $3.50. And he says, I quote, check my chart. I'm not expecting a breakout below 180. I'm expecting a deviation below it, aka a false breakout or a fake out below it before the next big leg up. It would not be a sign of weakness if we visit sub 180, basically. And he's just pointing out, most likely, in what he's saying, right, is that most likely Ethereum, or I'm sorry, XRP will probably break below 180. What's crazy is this was like 12 hours ago, I would imagine, because it's been a while since Bitcoin was at 80K, and that's what this article said. At the time of this article, which came out early this morning, was around 80,000. Right here, you can see 80,600. Obviously, that was 7-8 hours ago, right? So he was already calling for some of these numbers, especially XRP, it's at right now, technically. So we'll see if XRP holds that 0.5 on the fib retracement, which is literally at that 180. That's where he's getting his 180 at, I'm imagining, as well. So Steve, I was waiting for Steve, bro. I put the bear up and I was like, I was putting the bear sign out and I was like, Steve is going to come. Steve is going to come. He's going to be bearish. We need him right now. Steve, Art said Ordi is tempting. Bro, I added 50% ordinals. Like I literally, like I'm saying, like I have a massive bag. I added 50% in just one buy when it was at like $7 or $6 something or whatever the hell it was at. I haven't even looked at it today. I don't even want to. That's long term. I don't even want to look at it right now. I just needed to do that to bring my average down. But my boy Steve is here. Steve, guys, if you don't know Steve, he is the bear of the channel, right? When we were up, he was saying we're going down. And you know what? He didn't give us a time frame, but he said no matter what, we're going to be heading down to these levels, and we made it there so far. I think, Steve, weren't you calling for a $68,000 or $69,000 Bitcoin? And this was like weeks ago, folks. Walrus is a good one. What the hell is walrus? Why don't I know what walrus is? Are we talking about DeFi or what are we looking at here? On Sui? So wait, Steve, you're sitting there saying that we're heading down the 60K, but you're over here buying walrus, the walrus on Sui? Amor said, all right, Steve, what's the next prediction? Well, apparently the walrus is going to be flying here soon, so just messing with you, Steve. Oh, Wally. How long has this been out for? 12 days? I mean, I don't know. I guess to each is your own, right? Support level for Wally, I'll say, is about the 39-cent mark. Right? You bounced pretty much at it a couple times. You broke below. This was probably a decent little buy zone at the 31 cent. But I would say that technically the 38, 39 cent mark is a big spot for some support. Hopefully it holds. If it doesn't, you might be dropping down to the lower 30s on Wally. I'll add this to our watch list. Oh, so we had a nice bounce. Did it? You wouldn't know. You couldn't tell off of the daily. I will tell you that. I mean, I guess you can see somewhat of a small V-shaped recovery from the bottom. At some point it did. Yeah, it had a nice little 24% recovery from the bottom. I mean, Sui is getting down there, bro. Sui dropped down to 1.7 what is that? $1.71. I mean, that's freaking down there, dude. What's Sui's market cap at nowadays? 6 billion. This thing not too long ago was at around 16 billion. So I mean, it's obviously down like crazy, but it's still holding fairly well. I mean, still at a $6 billion market cap. I've always told you guys I was pretty bullish on Sui. Just not something that really I've been accumulating or even have a bag of. I might have a small bag of it. I don't remember. Amor said someone in the Discord asked to check out Remus. Where the hell are they at, bro? Tell them to come in here. Show your face. Is Remus on a is that DeFi? Oh, this is. Did you guys see this? The new those not new, but the freaking the wolves that they brought back. They supposedly cloned and came back. They've been like extinct for 13,000 years. If you guys haven't seen it, the guy that owns the company that did the cloning, he was on Joe Rogan yesterday talking about it. And their next, get this, the next animal that they're going to clone, that they have everything to do it with, they're going to do the same thing, is a freaking mammoth. They're going to be, was it mammoth? Yeah, mammoth. They're going to be freaking cloning a mammoth. And then after that, they're going to be doing the, forgot what the other animal was, but all these prehistoric animals. Yeah, dire wolves. Yeah, that's what it is, Steve. That's freaking dope, dude. If they actually genetically cloned those actual wolves that have been basically gone for that long, that's insane, right? And it makes you think of right now. I know we're getting a little off topic, but you know, it is what it is. But that makes you think about like maybe 100, 200 years from now, they might pull one of us or start pulling us back from the dead. You know what I'm saying? Clone, bring us back. We're gonna be gone. They're gonna bring us back. Like, what the hell? Come back in like the year 2300 and be like, holy crap. Steve said utility will be the bulk run. Oh, the bull run. Amor said someone in the Discord. Yeah, we pulled that up. Owen, good to add on the bags or wait for the... Owen said good to add on the bags or wait to dip more. I mean, today's a red day. So, I mean, obviously I'm not giving out financial advice, but personally, like a day like today wouldn't be a bad move. Jake said, bro... with the super chat too. Jake said, bro, you're the GOAT. You showed me call and turn 600 into six figures. Bro, if that really did happen, bro, I'm so happy for you, dude. Hell yeah. I know we did call out call. We literally called out call. It was at a $400,000 market cap. The morning it dropped, it was like 5 a.m. and I dropped it in the Discord. Right? I mean, I know you're not the only person that made massive amount of money off of that in the Discord off the channel, bro. So thank you so much for the super chat, bro. And you know what? I'm honestly genuinely happy that that was a big move for you, bro. You did better than I did, and I always tell this story and I say it with great shame, with great shame, that I picked up 700 billion call for $500, right? 700 billion. I had almost a trillion. Freaking call for $500, and I freaking sold it too early. Like I said, I sold it too early. I kept buying and selling. I made good money off of it, right? You guys know I don't ever disclose any of that stuff because I'm not here to flex anything. But I made good money. I didn't make six figures though, but I made good money off of it. You know, buying and selling call as it was moving up. But if I would have just held that 700 billion at the top of the market, it was like 85 grand off of that $500 freaking move. Just off that $500 move is an $85,000 move right there. So I do believe Jake is correct in regards to that. You're banned from where, bro? You're talking about from the Discord? I'm sorry if you're talking about the Discord, brother. But now that you bring that up, I'm going to... Oh, the call Discord. Okay. I was like... Because we had to go through... Yeah, we had to go through our Discord and like wipe out half the Discord because it was just like... it got toxic and stuff like that. But I know if you told anybody in call... Because I heard call like self-destructed the Discord. I still love the project, but I heard the Discord like self-destructed. I had a couple people in our Discord that were in call Discord, and they're like bringing us all the info, and it was just massive stuff going on, you know. But if you mentioned that you were selling your call and you had, you know, a decent amount, they were ready to kill you, pretty much like that. So Art said he did 5 figures on Crab. Hell yeah. Crab was a big one. I didn't point out Crab, but we did. That was dropped into Discord as well, right? And I mean, we all made some money off of Crab too. Can we just reflect on those times? That was a good time in the market, and it was only not even a year ago. Freaking the moves on call or on Crow and all that. Listen to me. All that shit's gonna happen again. I guarantee it, right? And I'm not necessarily saying that call is gonna go up. Or I'm sorry, that call's going to go up, 20,000% again. I think it's going to do really well. But what I'm getting to is there's going to be new projects that are going to drop, that are going to take the limelight on Crow particularly, and I always, every day I keep my eye out on shit dropping, as far as that, because, I can't tell you the satisfaction that I get when people like Jake come through and they give me a shout out. I appreciate that they made so much money off of something that we just basically threw into the Discord like, hey, this might be a play here. It just dropped and it ended up being a freaking hidden gem that not only myself or Jake, but a lot of people across the board I have a couple members that aren't here that basically told me they made like $20,000 that day that we dropped it. And I was just like, hell yeah, bro. Massive, massive money. If we all would have held, we were actually, everybody that in that Discord, besides maybe the actual devs, bro, I had 700 billion before anybody even knew about the damn project. Like, I literally was like one of the first like 20 transactions on call. So everybody that's in call, even right now, they're all diehard. These people weren't even around, right? They didn't even know about call. Our Discord was basically running call for the first like few days, and then basically it blew up, and some of us sold a little too early. This guy right here, but it is what it is, right? Amor said, for all who don't know, I'm banned from Discord. That's right. Amor was our little spy in there as well. Jake said the Chronos meme cycle was easy mode. It really was. It really was. And this is why I was always bringing up, for Crow, particularly was it's a lot slower pace, right? There's a lot less going on. With Solana, it's overwhelming. Obviously there's a lot of money to be made on Solana, but like when we were talking, like this was, a year ago when people were like didn't really know about DeFi, I was like, bro, I would, not financial advice, but I would stick to like Crow for right now and get a hang of it before you jump in with the lions and the sharks over in Solana, because you will get your ass completely decimated. No Diddy on that one. But Solana's just a different beast, right? Chronos is a lot different, a lot slower pace. And if you can find that, if that hidden gem drops, and here and there it does, right? Once in a while it does drop where you'll get these you'll get the calls, right? The call will drop, and go crazy. What's another one? A lot of people made money off of Ryoshi. But a couple of them, like one that I missed was like Bara was recent, right? This thing ran up like crazy. Another one that was from like 2 years ago that kind of was during the bear market that went crazy was Corgi AI. Another one. But what I'm pointing out is, like, if you notice, they drop like once a year, once every 8 months, like a hidden gem will drop. And if you're able to stumble across it at the perfect time, you can make some massive money, right? But you have to be careful, because there's also, just like any DeFi, there's a bunch of bullshit and scams, on Chronos as well. I always point out, I haven't even looked at Chronos today. I'm going to point out, you see how this project right now is up 400%? This is a scam. How do I know? There's going to be three. We haven't looked at this yet. There's going to be three indicators that are red on this right-hand side over here, most likely, and there's going to be red flags. Wow, there's nothing. Look at that. I'm completely wrong. Sorry, anybody running this project. It looks like, I don't know, I still wouldn't buy in on it, but it looks like this isn't what I was talking about. We'll act like that didn't happen here. But you guys know, they must not be running it right now. Twan, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Those people that are running the same freaking shit show projects on Chronos, like every 2 days they drop a new project, and the liquidity will be at like 100K, like 50 to 100K, and it'll basically let you buy in, but you can't sell. And a good way to point it out is when you, if you come over here on the DEX, on the security measure, the first three right here will be red, where there's a buy tax, there's a sell tax, and actually I think their red ones will be different, right? But it'll be, there's like a freeze right here, trading cooldown. They have that to where right when you buy in, they block you from selling. And then you can sit there and try to transfer a different wallet. Bro, it's like they put like a freaking bug, and it's like it just blocks, you cannot sell out of there. So you're buying in, but you can't sell. So those are the little things you have to be careful for right now. Obviously, I know that's everywhere. Solana is probably worse, but on Chronos particularly, you have to be very, very cautious with that stuff. So, Ricky, get out of here, bro. Today in the Jake's over here giving me like the hopium, bro. I appreciate it, man. If you guys notice, I haven't really been streaming much lately because it's just been like it's like it's rough coming out here right during these times, and I don't want to sound arrogant, but I don't have to stream. You know, like I do my trades and I do so well on them that I don't have to rely on like revenue from YouTube particularly. I do this because I love to come on here, right? I love to come on here, but Jake's over here, you know, like giving me that hopium again to just want to be out here and be with you guys, you know, as far as no Diddy on that one, but like streaming. But Jake said, let's see, he said, dude, I saw your YouTube after work and randomly bought it and you literally changed my life. Bro, that's awesome, bro. Honestly, it is awesome. It really is. I'm not even like bullshitting you. Like, you know, you making that money doesn't change my life. It just makes me feel better. You know what I'm saying? That I'm out here actually doing shit like that. Like, that's awesome, bro. That's awesome, bro. And I hope you not financial advice, but I hope the money that you made, you know, you save a lot of it and you do it all over again, right? That's how people become millionaires. That's awesome, bro. And thank you again for the super chat, man. Twan said, I just woke up from a bomb nap. Bro, I'm going to need a good nap. My dog had me up all freaking night last night, dude. Oh, yeah. Ricky said, eat your egg rolls. So I was messing with everybody in the Discord earlier. I told everybody that I was at a Chinese restaurant. And they were trying to charge me $14 for one egg roll because of the tariffs. Everybody was like, what? $14? I was like, yeah, bro. $14 for one egg roll. It was a joke, obviously. Somebody was laughing. Thank you. Hey, I appreciate you guys, man. I'm happy that we can at least come in here and enjoy it. You know, like I said, right now, times for the market, you know, it is what it is, right? But I personally do think, before we all leave, guys, I do think we're probably going to see a little bit more pain. Again, 74 is that first like line in the sand, but the ultimate line in the sand is going to be at 69K. That's going to be the area if we do break down into the 60s briefly. Hopefully, I think it's going to get bought up fast, but I don't think that we're going to see like this massive V-shaped recovery until the tariffs are done, right? And I swear, I vow that whenever all this shit is done with as far as tariffs, I never want to say that word again. And it's not, I'm over talking about the tariffs. So, but you know, with that being said, Twan said the only YouTuber that doesn't BS. Shout out to Crip. I appreciate that, guys. I appreciate that, guys. But with that being said, guys, that's pretty much it. Be safe out there. Again, if you were just jumping in, we were talking about this week as far as macro. We have the inflation numbers dropping on Thursday, which is in basically 2 days from now. We're expecting inflation to come in a little bit lower than expected, which is great. And we did bring this up earlier in the stream. If you guys remember, Crip was calling this. Remember, look at this. This is the next Fed meeting, which is in technically less than a month from now. Look at things are shifting to where the market is starting to think that we're going to see some kind of a reduction in interest rates. It's going to be probably only 0.25%, but I do think that Jerome Powell is going, and I've been saying this for how long, guys? He's going to be forced to reduce rates, whether it's physically or it's you know, through the numbers, right? And the way the market's looking right now, the way the inflation has been coming in, you know, looking decent. Gas is down like crazy. That's why they're thinking that inflation is going to drop again. Doesn't necessarily mean food has come down much, right? Because eggs are starting to come down, but they're still pretty high, and food is like leveled, right? As far as, you know, for the most part, from what I see in my area. But gas is such a big mover for inflation, and gas is starting to come down, or it's been coming down, right? So that's why they're thinking that inflation is going to come down as well. And that's what, you know, with everything that's going on, it's going to give basically Jerome Powell some ammo to start reducing rates a lot faster than he wants to and that he was anticipating, right? Because remember, we went into this year. Remember what started this drop even before inflation and the tariffs. December, Jerome Powell started, when we were at the top, he basically started coming out with a bunch of hawkish talk in regards to not having those 4 or 5 reduction interest rates this year, only having 2. Watch as things shift and we start seeing 3, maybe 4, maybe even more on the table. Or if we only see 2 or 3, we see big increments. This first one's going to be a quarter, but I do think down the road, very close down the road, they're going to start reducing interest rates pretty fast. So he's going to be pretty much forced to do it. So that's going to be a plus for the market. But again, I don't think it's going to necessarily be the big mover that's going to make us get that V-shaped recovery, in my opinion. Hopefully I'm wrong with that. Hopefully, Bitcoin is like, screw the tariffs, we're running, because everything else in the back end is still very bullish. We're still in the middle of a bull market. We're just in a bearish time in a bull market, guys. So with that being said, be safe out there. Keep your heads up. Don't get scared, right? We're going to make through this. Shout out to Jake. Jake's the man today. All you guys are, but shout out to Jake. My boy said he made 6 bands and a year ago off of a big call that we called in the Discord. So with that, guys, be safe. Thank you guys so much. And I'll see you guys back here tomorrow, all right? See ya.